Okay, so now we've coated the leather with the leather dye Phoebings, regular leather dye, not the pro dye. So we have a couple hours have passed, and we have these beautiful, excuse me, I'm a little hoarse today, too much fun, over Christmas. A little hoarse, a little fat. So once you've coated them with the leather dye, they have a slightly uneven finish. So the one cool part about this is it's a pretty good solid dye, but you want to give it a little buff. So a buff is basically get a relatively clean rag. In this case, I bought some tea towels, my cheap, really garbage, made in China gloves that have disintegrated already. And we're just gonna do what's called like a buff or a polish on the leather. And that's just gonna take off any particles, particulate. Okay, we're gonna do a buff on the leather, and that's just gonna take off any particles or particulate, dust, loose leather dye, anything you don't want being permanent on the hide, because the next step after the buff is to put on a Resolene. So it basically goes like this: deglaze if you're going to take off the finish, and then apply some coats, 1, 2 light coats of the leather dye Phoebings, and then give it a good buff. You know, everything needs a good buff. In the buff, as they say, all these great terms. Your skin, when you're naked, you're in the buff. Well, when you're polishing leather, which is skin, give it a good buff. So make sure it's clean and loose. Things are all gone. And then you're going to apply a Resolene top coat, which requires Resolene, a second Chinese food takeout tray, and a fresh sponge. So I'm gonna go get that, and then we're gonna put on the Resolene. Great, so new Chinese takeout tray. Yay, clean, lovely. Leather is buffed. We have Resolene. Resolene is a water-based coating for dyeing leather and sort of sealing and finishing the dye. So in this case, I have already opened the Resolene. Looks like milk. Don't drink it, it's not milk. I'm gonna absorb it into the sponge. Okay, so sponge is good and absorbed. And now we're just gonna very evenly try and apply it. It's making some bubbles. I'm going to take the bubbles out with a rag. Just give me a sec here. Well, not sure this is exactly what I'm wanting, but I'm going to even out the coating. I'm going to keep going. As you can see, as you apply it, it gets more even. Again, I'm just going to take this rag, smooth it out. I don't want a very heavy coating of the resin. I just want it evenly across the top of the leather. Okay, and I'm just going to finish up coating the leather on this side. Smooth that out. Getting my yoga in, leather yoga. Making sure that I'm okay. A little bit of schmutz there. Took off a little bit of the finish with my palm. Let's make sure I put it back. And there you go. So this is now the resin rag. And I got a new buffing rag. And we have to let this dry. Should take about an hour. And we have 3 more pieces to do. So what we have now is a fairly even chocolate brown aniline coat on top of what was formerly like a milk chocolate color. The unevenness of the dye will dissipate with the top coat, which sort of adds a refractive quality so that you get that slightly mottled finish, but not so uneven that it doesn't look beautiful once it translates to a coat. And if you look at it, you can really see how the grain comes out and the color is much more even. So now we've taken what was otherwise unusable 4 pieces of horsehide front quarter, neck, front leg, belly, right up to the butt, and we've made it usable. And not just usable, in my opinion, this might even be a more beautiful shade than what I currently have in stock. So likely available for someone who wants this particularly dark chocolate shade.